Shalawam Israel. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalawam to Lek out there doing this work of faith and labor of love and true sincerity. Right, I want to get into a topic, uh, based upon this precept here in the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. All right, and this is the book of Ecclesiasticus 27 and 9. The birds will resort unto their like, so will truth return unto them that practice in her. All right, and when the title of this lesson, birds will resort unto their like, just based upon the fact of just thinking how everything, as far as this truth is, and how everything as far as this world is, and you can clearly see how. And they said in the world also, birds of a feather flock together. So it's the same thing where they get these common sayings from. It all typically comes from these scriptures here, so on and so forth. And as far as us, being in this truth, we can see in many avenues how we don't belong a part of the world. You may see it in certain things of your character, compared to other people in the world. Just your mindset in general compared to people of the world. And you notice, especially like before the truth, you notice that it's something different about you, as opposed to other people, and it's something that's much deeper inside of you that anybody else could ever see, but the Most High sees it. And the Most High eventually brings it out of us, and that we get to our proper place and where we should be. And now what we're hearing is truth, seeking to be a part of that elect. Seeking, to get with the rest of the flock or the rest of the birds, as far as the kingdom is concerned, so to speak, and real quick, I wanted to bring out, this because this is the main example I wanted to get into in the book of Sirach 37, and I start at verse 11, and it says, "Neither consult with a woman touching her of whom she is jealous, neither with a coward in matters of war, nor with a merchant concerning exchange, nor with the buyer of selling, nor with an envious man of thankfulness, nor with an unmerciful man touching kindness, nor with the slothful for any work, nor with an hireling for a year of finishing work, nor with an idle servant of much business. Hearken not unto these in any matter of counsel." All right. Now, when you examine this scripture and it's telling you don't go to these type of persons, in a matter of counsel, because what? Obviously, if you, a man of a certain stature or, of a certain mindset, and you have a certain integrity about you, you go to somebody that has the opposite mindset as you, then what? You're not going to get what's needed from that person. The Most High typically won't give you the answers that you need through that person. Now, don't get me wrong, the Most High, he puts little tidbits out there and puts little sayings for other people of the world to actually say to us, for us to take heed to, and to transfer that into thoughts of things of the spirit, so that we can see things. So the Most High can use anybody, but in general, when it comes to serious matters, what? You seek to men that are of the same like. That's why it says here in verse 12, and I'm going to go back to thoroughly break down verse 11. But in verse 12 it says, "But be continually with a godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry." Because people of the world, they truly can't understand what this truth is all about, and how dedicated we are unto this truth and our belief in the Most High and our faith in the Most High, right? So that's why it says here also in 1 Corinthians 1 and 10, it says, "Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord YAHAWASHI HaMashiach, that ye all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment." Okay, so, we got guys, that think they're still of the truth that completely go way off, as far as the doctrine is concerned. They're of one like us over here at Great Millstone. We're of one like, you know, so on and so forth, right? So when you go back to this in Sirach 37, right? Because now, say for instance, if a brother was to go off, you know what I'm saying, or commit a trespass against another brother. Now, you mentioned what you did unto somebody of the world. They might, oh man, that's something light. You know what I mean? You taking it too serious. So it ain't that deep. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it moving, or do you? You know what I'm saying? That's what the typical person in the world would think because their morals are not in alignment with these holy scriptures. But if you go to another godly man, another brother, about uh, what you may have done or what you may have did, he's going to be there to correct you, to chasten you, rebuke you, whatever is needed at that given time, and to help uplift your spirit through that time of which you messed up in. That's what the brotherhood is there for. That's why we resort unto one another. We resort unto our likes so that we can constantly be picking each other up through the spirit, man. And that's why it also says, slack it. Yeah, it's Proverbs 24:16. For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. So what? How is the just man able to fall 7 times and rise up again? Because first and foremost, YAHAWASHI is with that man there in the spirit. And secondarily, you have the brotherhood to uplift you so that you can rise up every single time that you may slip, that you may trip, you may fall. You know what I'm saying? That you may stumble, that you may go off. You know what I'm saying? But what? The complete wicked will fall into mischief because they don't have the one to properly give them that guidance in which they need to truly uplift their spirit. They don't have that, but we have this. And this is why we must cherish this brotherhood, man, because it's that serious. And the scriptures also say, let me see if I can find it real quick. I believe it's First Corinthians 5:16. Hold on, no. What 2 Corinthians? Hold on, slack you. I believe it's 2 Corinthians, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's James. Slack it. It's James. It's James 5:16. It says, confess your faults one to another and pray for one another that ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. And this is why, now I'm not saying every single time, but when you have those slips, trips, falls, stumbles, so on and so forth, you know what I'm saying? That, hey, from time to time, it may be something you could just keep to yourself, praying to the Most High. Then there's going to be other times to where, you need to call upon the brotherhood. You'll need to talk to the brotherhood. You'll need to get some things off your chest and have another brother there to pick you up. You know what I'm saying? And for the brother or brothers to pray for you that you may be healed from the things in which you're going through so that you can continue righteously within this truth, man. Because it said what? The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. This is why prayer is so, so very important. And we all have to, pay attention to that. And I'm speaking always, always, always speaking in reference to myself first and foremost, because, at times just because we live life, we often slip up and we don't pray. But that's a given. We have to pray. And that's something that we can't forget to do, or that we can't just slip up and just not do. You know what I'm saying? That should be the first and first thing on our mind when we wake up, and the last thing on our mind before we go to sleep, to make sure we get those prayers up to the Most High YAHAWASHI. I want to go back to the book of Sirach, right? It's Sirach 37:11. Neither consult with a woman touching her of whom she is jealous, neither with the coward in matters of war. Now, if you know that you're a man of war, the Most High gave you the spirit of war, or you're a warrior, right? Why would you go to a coward in matters of war? What type of counsel could he possibly give you? He's not according to your like. And that's why you have men, I'll use an example of the streets, right? Now, when you're in the streets, People will always say, you know, oh, I'm about this life, or this is that and the third, and you down to do this, you down to do that. But then when something hits the fan, what, you have one guy that'll tell on another person, you know. So he was a coward in a matter of war. That was all wickedness in general, but he happened to be a coward in a matter of war, or take it to actual war. You go into war, and now one of your warriors gets captured, but you happen to be the king, you know, and he wound up selling you out. You know what I'm saying? And this could have been your right hand man, your general, or anybody. He wound up selling you out and wound up being an agent for the other side, man. Because true indeed, he was a coward, you know, because he didn't hold that same heart towards war that you did. He wasn't built for that, man. You know, we got to be built for this thing, man. It's every brother within this truth is given different positions, you know, and every brother has their strengths within this truth, and every brother has their weaknesses. We work on all things, but everybody is not meant for every single thing, you know. That's why the scriptures also say, see what is evil for thy soul, and give thyself not over unto it, man. You know, if something is not right for you or for your spirit, then you don't dive into it, because when it comes down to it, you can't handle this certain thing, or coming into the truth early, you know, sometimes, you know, this is why we must get the milk first, because if we was to just jump into the meat, a lot of us would choke on that. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing all the way down the line. Nor with the merchant concerning exchange. A merchant, what, he's a seller. He's not a person that deals with exchanges like that. Nor with the buyer or selling. A buyer, what, he buys things. He don't know nothing about selling things. He don't know how to make a profit. He don't know how to flip the goods and do this, is that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? Nor with the envious man of thankfulness. Nor with the unmerciful man touching kindness. So you're seeing all the opposites. So you're not to be receiving counsel from people that are in an opposite mind frame as you concerning certain things. This is why, you know, the scriptures say, right? You can use this for all walks of life, right? Oh, damn. What happened? Okay. Yeah, it says, Jeremiah 9:4, take ye heed every one of his neighbor, and trust ye not in any brother, for every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slanders. So when it comes down to it, you know, like I said, everybody is not built for every single thing. So when you trust people, right, you have to trust them as far as you know their character to be. You know, that's also why the scriptures say that you have to try a friend, or that you have to prove a friend first. You know, because otherwise, when stuff really hits the fan, you don't know if that man is going to be 10 toes down for you, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? You have to trust men for what you know their character to be. And that's it. You know, if you know a brother is good for, you know, holding the money down, the tights down, or different things like that. If you know a brother is good with charity, or if you know a brother is good with the history, you know a brother is good with this, you trust him in an area or areas in which you know that man is good for, and what he brings to the table as far as this truth, and as far as the body, as far as the brotherhood is concerned, man. You know? So this all goes into the point of what the birds will resort into their like, and as the birds resort into their like, they're going to mesh perfectly in sync as one body, because each one plays a role and each one plays a significant part, and that the so that certain other brothers may not have. You know, this is why all of these things is very, very important, man, to the body. You know what I'm saying? And concerning, you know, the ways of the world, we completely don't mix or mingle with them. And that's why it says, 1 Peter 4:1, for as much then as YAHAWASHI have suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that hath suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of the Most High. So the average person in the world, what, they not living for the will of the Most High. You try to tell them things, they may say, yeah, I get you. Y'all should be doing this. You know what I'm saying? They may be willing to do something that don't seem too grievous unto them, but ultimately, what, they live in their life for the lust of the flesh, for the things that they see, for the things that they want to go after, man. We're not in that stead. You know, it says what? For the times past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries, wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. Okay? And so that's how it ultimately is. And they wind up speaking evil of you or speaking of you in the wrong manner because they don't understand your way of life. And our way of life is completely righteous according to the scriptures of YAHAWASHI, according to the doctrine of the Lord, and according to the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, man. You know, we don't go for things according to our own mind and, you know, as these free thinkers and people who think that they're spiritual do and make up shit as they go along. No, we have guidelines, we have rules, we have instructions, we have wisdom, we have a discernment that we lean upon through the Spirit of the Lord and through these scriptures, okay? And this is why we serve the Lord in truth and sincerity, right? And what's the other scripture I wanted to grab? Yeah, and this one here, Joshua 24:15. Matter of fact, I start at verse 14. It says, "Now therefore fear the Lord." And you know, this is the current topic of, you know, what's going on, you know what I'm saying now, fearing the Lord and things like that, you know, being on fire for this truth, you know. Now therefore fear the Lord and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your father served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve ye the Lord. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods of your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. So as you know, the hot topic is right now, you know, it's, you know, to serve the Lord is to have that fear of the Lord and things like that. So, you know, when the apostles come in there laying the law down, they declaring what? The judgment of the Most High. And it is truly, truly to be feared. And I know that, you know, more than ever each day, you know, as this truth, you know, as I continue in this truth, as I continue to you know, to fight, man, you know, and Lord willing, you know, the Lord keep, you know, me, you know, the brothers I labor with and all the other sincere brothers that's out there, you know, in the right spirit, that we continue to serve the Lord in truth and sincerity, and that we don't walk in the ways of the other nations, you know, serving the gods, you know, of the other Hamites, you know. So in these other nations, you know, in the ways of the world in general. So, you know, with that, you know, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalawam to Lek out there, doing his work of faith and labor of love and true sincerity. Shalawam.